So, been getting pretty motivated finally, and getting all the finishing touches on the next book. She says, I just won't stop next to that camera. She knows that camera makes me a little nervous, so she builds to it. Anyway, been getting the finishing touches on the book, and in it I talk about how to develop their trot and how to develop all their gaits, and I write about how to frame them and the difference between frame and collection and stuff too. But there's also some of the philosophy of training in there, like there was in the first book. And this was a deal I just wrote yesterday, kind of added in there. And this isn't exactly how it writes, but I'll just say it the way it says. When you get to figuring out these horses and learning a lot about them, and you get one that's kind of inferior in whatever way, maybe they've got a bad conformation, maybe they're bad-minded, maybe they're spoiled by somebody else riding them, maybe they're spoiled by you riding them. It gets really hard. Hey, what's this all about? It gets really hard to just accept them for what they are and let them be what they are. You know, they're not all world beaters. And especially if you're like me and you've ridden a few world beaters, you want that feeling again, and you try to make them all like that. I went through a real rough period in my career. It was rough on me, but it was rougher on horses, where I tried to make everything a world beater. But it's tough to just learn to just accept them for what they are. You want to get the most out of them and advance them as much as you can, but some of them, that's just as good as they're going to get, you know? They just can't do some stuff. This filly right here, she's having a little bit of a hard time with this right-hand turn. Well, that's not something that I would accept, that, well, you just don't turn as good to the right, because physically she can. So I'm going to help her as much as I can. But then there's other ones that physically they can't. That's as good as they can turn. Well, there's no reason me wasting time and effort and energy and emotion of mine or of the horses trying to improve something that won't ever get any better. And so that's real tough to learn how to do. And as I was writing that, I got to thinking about the other relationships we have in our lives besides horses. And it's just as tough to do that with other things too. Whether it's a border collie dog that doesn't have any work in him, or has got too much work in him, or whatever, or a human or a friend. And it got me to thinking about that outlaw paint horse I've got. A lot of people have seen him on these videos and commented, and everybody loves paint so much. And a lot of people have tried to buy him, and I said, no, he's not what you think he is. And they see my kids ride him and they say, oh no, he is what I think he is. I say, no, he's not. Just because my kids can ride him doesn't mean anybody else can ride him. And you know, paint, like I said, he's an outlaw. He thinks like an outlaw, he acts like an outlaw. And I can get along with him because I let him be an outlaw so long as he goes to work for me. And I put up with his crankiness and put up with the way he wants to just treat everything like he's the FBI and just knock down the door and ki-yaw. You know, I put up with that, and when he's like that, I know I just have to pick up the slack a little bit. And but he's the same way. You know, I know if I pull on him, he'll buck me off. But he's the same way. He puts up with me. when I get emotions and when I'm having trouble or this or that or the other thing, well, then he knows he's got to pick up the slack for me and just accept me for what I am. And, you know, it's not very often in life you get a horse like that. And it's not very often in life you get a friend like that, but that's what we're always looking for with these horses, is that sometimes I just have to put up with you the way you are, and sometimes you just have to put up with me the way I am. I didn't come out very good. I ride a lot better than I talk.
Sounds kind of like marriage.
Tell you what, I'm gonna put this mare up. She's just trying to be soft, quiet.
I want to thank the subscribers of our Patreon channel. The patrons, that's Patron where I'm from, give us the opportunity to bring these videos to you all. Without them, this channel wouldn't be possible. Join us over on Patreon for more in-depth lessons and step-by-step instruction on everything from gear to theory, riding everything from colts to bridle horses, the circus pole, and husbandry. We'd love to see you all over there.